Hey everybody, the UPS truck just left and brought me a big package. Let's get it off the mule and see what we have. I'm excited to share it with you. Right from Garvee, what do you think it is?
It's going to be very interesting.
It sure is, George. Stay tuned, let's tear this thing open and I'll show you what we got. Man, it's all packaged real nice.
I've never seen Billy this excited before.
Well, heck yeah, I'm excited. Look at this. Fold-on forks. Different than I've seen before. Let's get them reviewed. I guess looking at Garvee's website, take a look at it. They have a plethora of implements for your tractor. That these are actually called a clamp-on debris fork. And this size fits the 42 to 48 inch bucket. My bucket's 57 inches inside to inside. So this was the best fit for my situation. Very easy to put together. It's all welding. The welding looks pretty good. And all you have to do is put in these threaded bolts here. Attach the nut to the bottom. There's a knurled edge on the bottom of that, that nut. Be sure that's down, so it's going to really grab onto your bucket. That's really how simple it is. Let's go look at the specs now a little bit deeper. Join me as my wife and I go through this and start measuring some things for you. 2 inches, 2 inches, about an 8-inch gap between the forks. 2 inches by 2 inches with an 8-inch gap. I like that brace through there, how all those are fixed. Here I'm trying to show you the welds. They look good. Instead of having two independent forks, I like the length and how these are one unit. And I'm going to show you some examples of why I like that design. So here it is in the garage. Look at how little storage space it takes up. And I put it on a two-wheeler for convenience of moving around. I'll place the weight of this right here. I'll look it up. And this, to move it out of the garage to use it, I just roll it out in the fork truck, the hand truck there, and we're ready to hook it up. All right, there's two ways you can put it on. By hand, open your bolts there so it'll go on. Just lift it up and slide it on the end of your bucket. Or you can drive onto it. I couldn't see it, so I did need my wife's help to tell me when I was in there. And curl it back up and then get out and then clamp down your bolts and nuts. And then you're all set to go. My OCD kicks in and I got to have it in the middle, you know, so I measure at each side and you do what you'd like. Clamp these down and let's go out and move some stuff around. But before we do that, I did want to show you a close-up here of me cranking that down. And I put it as tight as I could within reason. And I wonder if I shouldn't have put a wrench on that nut and just give it a little tug. I'm probably going to do that going forward. Here I'm just simply demonstrating they're not falling off. Jiggle it there a little bit. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Let's go move some brush piles I've got. They've been sitting here all summer. It'd be a good time to clean them up. All right, so like my other forks, I can't quite see them, so I'm just kind of going on experience. I look at the top of my bucket and know I'm relatively level and the fork should be level. I'm on a slope here, so I'm taking that into consideration. And I'm going to try to slide those forks, those debris forks, underneath there. Now, this is the first time I've used it, so bear with me. But I'm real happy so far, especially now sitting here editing it. Everything did stick in there. Looks like I lost one or two small pieces, but overall I didn't stack that brush in any particular order or anything to favor these forks, but boy, it worked pretty good. Now let's go down the driveway. I'll take you along once. And I just really happy with the way it rode along and didn't fall off and leave pieces all the way down the driveway. Now, I know my driveway, so if you think my view is obstructed, if you're in a strange area, then I would suggest back up, then you'll have your view. My driveway has some very steep drop-offs, so I take advantage of it, and any tree branches or anything that fall off throughout the year I cut off, I put on the edge of that, and they just rot away naturally. I can't imagine how much stuff I've got dumped over this edge, but it just keeps disappearing, so I keep adding. Well, I'm happy with the way it came off the forks real nice. I think it actually come off there cleaner than the brush cutter I used to use. Now let's take a look at pallets. So I'm going to slide a full-size pallet on there, and what I want to point out to you was, if you were going to use that, cut one in half. So about right in the middle. My recommendation is cut one in half, and then you'd have a nice pallet. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with half on the forks and half not. Now, another idea I come up with, I don't have any plywood, but if you could imagine this cardboard being plywood or OSB, then you could cut it to 24 inches and have yourself a pretty nice workbench, wouldn't you? Boy, I wish I would have knew these existed last summer. If you watch my channel, remember when I was building that retaining wall? It was like 6 feet high, and I had a sciatic issue. Boy, look at this. I could have stacked my blocks up, the landscape blocks, put 2 on each fork, put some extra ones in the bucket, and delivered up to my work site, and not had to lift and stress out my back lifting that stuff around. So lifting blocks and heavy things like that, man, this is pretty nice. You know, and in addition to putting 2 on each fork, then you could put some in your bucket too, or hand tools or whatever you wanted. So you really get a lot of volume and space here with this design to put on there. Well, I had to cut down an apple tree, so that's a good demonstration. Let's get that loaded on here and see how that hauls out of here. And remember, if you're in unfamiliar terrain, then just back up and then you'll have the visibility you need. I know where I'm going here, so I'm comfortable driving forward and using my peripheral vision there to see where I'm at. Now, wouldn't it be something if I just ran into the Kawasaki mule there?
That guy's hilarious. His reaction would be priceless.
Everything's staying on real nice. I'm really happy with this so far. Let's take this down and see how this comes off. And then I want to try smashing this load down here. Let's see how that goes. I also like to push this debris down off the hill there a little bit to kind of accelerate the decaying of it. I can't go past that log because it drops off really steep. And be sure and take a minute once in a while and check the tightness of those bolts. All right, one more load of that apple tree out of here. Let's see how this comes off. If you're looking at the driveway, it's about 180-degree switchback, and you can see the slope with the tractor there. In the winter, it's a little scary some days, especially if you get a lot of ice. That's why I put the logs along the perimeter to help stop the car or truck. Used it a couple times. So here I'm trying to get down in that pile and lift it up and push it down. And I'm really pretty happy with this. I'm just thinking of other things you can haul or move around with these forks. Let me know in the comments what your ideas are. What would you use it for? I've mentioned a few ideas. Oh, and then also, while you're driving with them, I tilt the bucket upwards so I can see the ends. See when I lower them, they really go out of sight. So I keep my tips up so I can see what I'm doing. Got this old tree over here I want to move. Let's take a whack at that. You know, I'm going to go back to that retaining wall again, because I used to have to put on my forks lot, take my bucket off, get blocks up, put the bucket on, get supplies. This is kind of convenient to be able to do both with this, because I could leave the forks on, throw my bags of material, dry material, into the bucket or on the forks. Here's a situation where firewood, you could load your forks up and then throw firewood in your bucket also. So let me know again what your thoughts are. I think there's a lot of uses for this. I want to encourage you to go over to their website, that Garvee.com. They've got a plethora of attachments for your tractor. Just did a search for clamp-on forks, and 164 results popped up. So you might want to take a look at it. Prices seem to be very attractive. And I think this is for the guy that doesn't want to purchase a grapple yet, and all the expense associated with that. Maybe you've got a new tractor, you need something just to move some things around here rather than spend $1,000 on forks. Maybe you are comfortable spending between $200 and $300, and then you grow into larger implements. But this might really be a good beginner set of forks. And before you write me and say you're going to bend your bucket, I'm aware of that. But I like the design of this because it evens the load out. I'm not an engineer, but I just know that those individual forks, if you put a lot of load on one, it could be a different load factor than something like this that is one unit and carries the load and spreads it out. Now here I'm just jacking around. I want to see the dozing feature of it and see how these things work. And you know, honestly, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to clean this up and play with this thing. And boy, I tell you, it cleans the timber floor pretty nice. Here, now be careful when you do this, because you could bend your hydraulic pistons up there in a bucket. So just be aware of that. I don't recommend doing this, but I'm trying to see how it can kind of clean things up. Well, I'm going to start wrapping this up. I didn't get a lot of shout-outs this video, but I wanted to say hi to Stephanie out in Corning, California, to her and her family. That's the olive capital of the world, I learned. And Gary out in Newfoundland, Labrador, Canada. Gary, I was up in Halifax last week. Very interesting, beautiful town. If you got time, folks, look up the Halifax explosion of 1917. Man, that was incredible. Hey, I'm going to put a link in the description to Garvee's website. And if you use Bill, B-I-L 10, you'll get 10% off. That's pretty nice. And take a look at them. If you're considering quality and price, I think those two come together in this set of clamp-on forks. I think you'll like them. All right. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great month, and we'll talk to you real soon. So long, everybody.
So play nice.